Hello everybody, I'm Sindastra and today I would like to take a look at this game head by Waveshare. Now, of all the retro gaming things I possess, and in fact of all the retro gaming things I've seen, this is probably the weirdest one. So why is it weird? Let's start by looking at its side. So as you can see, this is not actually a proper gaming case, but rather it's actually just a slab, basically a circuit board with a screen and game controls. And then you slap a Raspberry Pi onto it and then a back plate so that you can hold it. So the buttons are actually really clicky. Some might like such clicky buttons. To me they feel a bit cheap, but I guess it depends on your taste, really. Now, one thing that's weird about this is just basically an HDMI screen. Now, the advantage is you don't need any drivers to run this thing. You can pretty much install any Raspberry Pi image and it will work, because as you can see here, let me take this out for a moment if I can. See this? This is the HDMI output of the Raspberry Pi. This is the input of the screen. It says no signal. So this is basically like a tiny HDMI cable, but instead like a board, so that it just fits perfectly. Let's see if I can put this back in here. It's really not great. And the image should come back. Yep. So yeah, you could in theory hook up any HDMI device onto this screen. On this side right here, these are buttons for the screen controls. As you can see, this is really just a dedicated HDMI screen. You can go through the options. You can adjust the volume here, click menu here, click again. And let's go back to silent, and then the exit button right here. So perhaps we should take a look at the parts. Oh, one more thing. These are the charging LEDs. You can see 25%, 50, 75, 100, and a warning LED. This never showed up, I believe. Let's hope this never happens. So let's disassemble this thing real quick. As you can see, this is just held on together by some screws. It's just a back plate. So let's unscrew this thing. So we did unscrew this now. Now this back plate should come right off. Let me get the light a bit closer here. It's a bit dark to see. So it's really just this, I don't actually know, seems to be some acrylic, some plastic, not sure, it got a bit dusty. So let's take a closer look. This is the circuit board that holds the screen and controls and everything. And the Raspberry Pi, like there's this HDMI thing. The Raspberry Pi is just stuck onto here with a GPIO. You can basically just pull it out here, and that's it, with a little heatsink here and there. This is actually a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Works pretty well on battery. Speaking of battery, these batteries can be quite expensive in maker shops. It's a pretty standard battery, but sometimes I see them go from like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, which is a total rip-off. I actually got a cheap power bank. It was like one of those long power bank thingies for $5. I actually bought it for the charging circuit, but as a bonus I got this battery, so I put it in here instead of buying one for this thing. The way the controls work is actually by GPIO. That's what the GPIO pins here are for. This means because it's just HDMI and you don't need any drivers for this, the only thing you need to get running is the GPIO controls. So it should be pretty easy to get any game ROM or project working with this. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention is this product has existed for many years and I had it in my collection for many years, but I don't actually use it. Now you might think that's because it's uncomfortable, but actually this is one of the most comfortable consoles I've ever held. I know this might sound weird considering how it's open on the sides and all, but my fingers go on here on the sides like this, and the distance to the L and R buttons is perfect, and yeah, everything is nice to reach. Nothing is cutting into my flesh. It's really, well, it feels really comfortable, which is surprising. But I don't like the idea of constantly sweating onto open circuit boards, so I just like to collect these things more than actually using them. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Amelie. Hmm?